Hello and welcome to Interactive Distractions, episode number 498. My name is Chris Fricchio, and I am here with Jason A. Stryker.
Oh, that's me. Hi.
Once again, welcome back. And Geoff Chorty.
Happy New Year and what up?
Happy New Year. Today is January 2nd, and it is 2025, our first recording for 2025. We're going to do some distractions for you, and that's probably it for this show.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be a short one. But first, let's see what's going on. Jason, I want to start with you. How you feeling, buddy? How you doing?
It got me, man. They finally caught up with me. The COVID, it got me. The COVID wasn't too bad. Like that. I got COVID. In case anyone's wondering why I've been out for a little while. I had not achieved COVID status. Positive before, and it finally got me. But about 2 days worth of COVID, like it was still like nothing was going on. I got a little bit of a cough. I feel fine. But then all of a sudden, I had trouble breathing, and at least it was checking my like oxygen levels, and it was dipping down into like 80s and shit like that, and it should be at like 100.
Yeah, high 90s, right?
Yep. And so she was real worried. I'm like, no, I'm fine. Until I wasn't.
I'm a big tough guy. I'm fine. I got this.
Yeah. So I was just fine until I wasn't fine. And we went to the ER, and they immediately got me into the emergency room. So there was no waiting. It was great. It was the fastest time I've ever been in there. But yeah, they admitted me right away. They did some tests and double pneumonia, both of my lungs. So I was having some real trouble breathing for a while. A little scary for a couple of days, but they had me in there for like a week or something like that, 5 days, I think. And then it was just like, we'll send you home, but you got to go home with an oxygen tank because you got to keep breathing. So, they sent me home. They
breathing
got me
is
cool.
good. Yeah. I'd like you to be breathing.
Pretty essential. Yeah.
It's overrated. Like, I don't know. When you have to think about it, it's a pain in the ass.
Yourself to breathe.
It sucks. Because it's just like constant. It's like, I got to do this again? Okay, fine.
I just breathed like 2 seconds ago. God.
But no, I'm feeling a lot better. I think we're back on track. I'm still on the oxygen. Like I've still got it, and like I was just on it, shortly before the show, just to kind of get the wheezing out of me. So, but I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, you sound definitely better than last time we.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, you look significantly better. So it's good. It's good to see you on the upper trend, man.
Thanks, man.
Geoff, how are you, dude?
I'm doing okay. Had a busy last week and a half with all the holiday stuff going down.
Yep.
The Christmas and then the New Year's, and then the weekend was like my Tanya, my sister-in-law, and my nephew did the polar bear plunge.
Oh my God!
Here.
Oh my!
They're
really
fucking insane.
That's crazy.
It was cold and it was just freezing watching it, and I was like, "Oh my God, you guys are fucking nuts!" But they did it, so that was really cool, and they will never do it again. They all said.
I would imagine.
Yeah, but no, Christmas was kind of fun. We went to on Christmas Eve. We went to Tanya's parents' place, and
cool.
They had some family over, and they usually like to play games and stuff, whether it's board games or like interactive stuff. Yeah, that kind of stuff. And the kids right now are kind of obsessed with Among Us.
Okay. Yeah.
We played real life Among Us.
Oh, no.
It was fun, man.
Yeah?
Like at first I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. But Tara, my sister-in-law, she printed out all these cards and laminated them with all like these jobs and stuff, and then put them in all the rooms and like the main floor. And then had these cards saying like whether you were a traitor or not a traitor. I guess they are traitors or whatever. Imposters. Imposters. And they had all your tasks on it. And before we'd play, we would pick a random card, and it would say what you were and what your jobs were. as a crewman, and if you were the imposter. And then if you were the imposter, you had to poke people to kill them. And it was a lot more fun than I thought. The very first game,
You just stay away from everyone, so you're not in poking range of any person.
well, that's the thing.
Like,
that's kind of like what
COVID
we were
rules, 6
doing.
foot.
Yeah. And then we kind of made some rules as we went along too, because before the first game even started, I thought I could see through Tanya's card, and I saw that there was no no task she had to do. So I was like, "Hey, just let everyone know Tanya's the first imposter. Just letting you know right now." And then kind of like laughed or whatever. And I'm like, "No, seriously. Like I saw like whatever. I guarantee you it's her." And then we play, and what do you know? Somebody dies, and someone hits the button to call the meeting, and I'm like, "It's Tanya. Trust me. Everyone go with me. It's Tanya 100%." And then it was Tanya. Everyone voted for Tanya out. She was the imposter. Like, well, how did you know? And I was like, I saw through your card. Like it's a white card laminate, and I saw there was nothing. There's no tasks there. And she's like, but there are tasks there. And she showed me, and I was like, oh, I guess I just
I just got lucky then.
lucky. So then we made
That's
a rule that you can't call people out before there's a dead body anymore, or you can't call a meeting unless there's a dead body. So I the first time I was the imposter, I got somebody, wasn't voted out, and then I got a when we were going again, I poked my brother-in-law, and then I look over, and my mother-in-law, Tanya's mom, is looking right at me.
Oh, you busted.
And I was like, oh. And then we had a rule because like the main floor is not that big, so we had a rule that if you do get killed, you can't die right away. You have to wait like 5 seconds, then die, just so it's not super obvious. So anyway, she calls an emergency meeting. Scott hasn't quite died yet, and she hits the. She's like, okay, I have an emergency meeting. And then I was like, well, what's going on? She's like, I just saw Geoff kill Scott. And I was like, who are you going to believe, guys? Someone who's already breaking the rules after we just started, and she's already calling a meeting. I think she's throwing everyone off by trying to pick someone out right away.
She's so eager to, yeah.
Somehow I convinced them, and she's like, no, I saw Scott. And then Scott died. And then
during the meeting,
during just as the meeting was starting or whatever. And then I'm like, how did she know it was going to be Scott? Like, and she's like, well, I saw you. I'm like, okay, I was nowhere near you, whatever. And anyway, I somehow managed to get through that. And then, of course, I had to kill her the next round. I'm like, she's got to shut up.
She's got to go.
For her. That's how it starts. That's how it starts.
Sonia, but your mom's,
mom's got to go.
She's got to be next to go.
She's got to go. And then the look she gave me when she had to die, I was just like, and then I ended up winning that round. I was like, hell yeah. They didn't get me. But it was fun. I actually won the 2 rounds that I was the imposter, but I got killed the other times, of course. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was surprising.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
Cool. Yeah, that was
awesome.
it. It was game related. So I figured I got to tell that story. I would totally do that with a group of people in like a bigger kind of area. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Like kind of like an escape room type thing, just among us.
Yeah, I've got wheels turning now for some sort of activity with my team at work.
Oh, so I gotta tell this story because it's part of why I think I also convinced everyone to go against my mother-in-law when she clearly saw me do it. The round before that, she was the imposter, and she killed somebody. I think it was my brother-in-law actually. And then as she was kind of leaving the room, she tripped our niece, and then she decided to poke my niece on her way down. And so I just made a joke, like, you're going to trust someone who pushes down her own grandchild, like, to win the game? Like, who does that unless you're an imposter?
That's funny.
Evil woman. Sorry, but that's it. Now I want to play the game Among Us. I've never played it before, so now I want to try.
I haven't either. I have it on Steam, but I've never played it. Like a buddy of mine gave it to me for Christmas one year, I think, or something like that.
We've got it on VR on PlayStation 2. Yeah, not PlayStation 2 VR. PlayStation VR 2. There we go.
Okay. let's see, what am I doing? So we did a little board gaming over the break as well. I mentioned a while back that I picked up at Gen Con. I picked up the Shovel Knight board game, so we got to break that out and play that a little bit. That was a lot of fun. And then right now, the family and I are we're rewatching the Sonic series. So we can go see Sonic 3 this weekend.
Or the
movie.
like movies?
Well, the 2 movies and then the Knuckles show. So we have one more episode on the Knuckles show, which is not great, but it's somewhat entertaining. It's obviously meant for a younger audience.
I've heard the new movie's really good. A lot of people say it's easily the best one.
Oh yeah? Okay, I haven't heard that.
That's what I've been hearing. Yeah,
that's good to know.
That's saying something.
We're gonna go see it this weekend.
Good, actually. So.
Yeah, they were.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, the other 2, I was. There are very few movies that surprised me as much as the original Sonic movie.
Yeah. Can you imagine if they didn't redesign Sonic? Like that was honestly, the best decision.
I am at the point where I think that was all a publicity stunt. I honestly think it was all a publicity stunt, because if they would have just come out with Sonic looking normal from the start, I don't think anybody would have cared. But the fact that they absolutely destroyed him, and then there was an uproar, and then they said, okay, we hear you, we're going to fix him. And then they fixed him. I think that is what made people interested in seeing the movie, to be honest with you. So, but that's my own conspiracy theory that other people may have heard.
It's a believable conspiracy theory, more so than others I've heard.
Yeah, but that's it. Let's talk some games. What do we got? Who wants to go first?
I can go first. It's been a while for me.
Go for it.
Yeah, man. What do you got?
A whole lot of not too terribly much. Yeah, when I'm sick, I don't play. But once I started feeling better, the first thing on my list was 9 Souls, which just came out on Game Pass. It's been out on PC for a few months, and I picked it up there. But I've been, like I said, I've just been meaning to play it, or meaning to get around to it, and I finally did. So this is from Red Candle Games. They're based out of Taiwan, I think, and they've got like a few like indie horror games under their belt, and now they've got this, which is like a let's see.
I've heard like 2D Sekiro is what I'm hearing.
2D Sekiro, in that there's like different things that you have to like dodge, or you have to parry. And then, oh God, why can't I think of Hollow Knight? There we go.
Oh, okay,
Hollow Knight, little Sekiro, a little bit of Katana Zero, in that there's like deflecting like arrows and bullets and shit like that. So it's super fluid combat, and it's very, very precise, which is super satisfying when you start pulling shit off that you didn't think that you could do. When you've got like 3 enemies surrounding you, you're fighting 2, and then all of a sudden like a bullet comes from off screen, you deflect that bullet and kill the dude that shot it. Then all of a sudden you got a guy behind you and you parry his shit, and you fucking throw a talisman on his fucking face, and you slip behind him, and then he blows up into chunks and shit, and then you've got the one guy left. It's like, come on, motherfucker, come on.
I ain't gonna try this. And you're like that samurai cat, right?
It looks good. It looks good.
It's got a really cool look to it. So it's 2D hand drawn stuff, but it's got like they call it Tau Punk, which is like, I don't know, like like an Asian inspired cyberpunk, I guess, like an Asian religious like version of cyberpunk.
It's really well animated too. Like it looks great.
It's super cool. I'm glad I checked it out. It's definitely on my list. So far, for like end of the year stuff.
Okay.
I'm really liking it quite a bit. So with a few bosses in and going crazy, going nuts.
This is going on my wish list for sure.
Cool. Yeah, it's on Game Pass, so check it out.
Oh yeah, even better.
Yep. You know what else has kept me going?
What's that?
My Retroid Pocket. Yeah.
Oh, which one is it? Oh, nice. Okay.
This is the 5, the Retroid Pocket 5. I've had the past few Retroid Pockets, and I've been mostly happy with them. This is kind of like the guy, though. Like, this is kind of the pinnacle.
So that's got analog sticks on it, right?
Yeah, it's got 2 analog sticks on it. So like it'll play stuff up to like through PS2.
Oh shit!
Nice. Okay.
And fairly well at that. Where it starts chugging a little bit is like Wii and like Xbox and shit like that, PS3 of course, and Switch.
Mm.
It doesn't play those very well, but yeah, like GameCube, Dreamcast, shit like that. Handles it like a champ.
Wow.
So this is like kind of a mid range, I guess you would consider this. It's about $200. Then you can get it from like GoRetroid.com. But like the next step up, like you're getting into Steam Deck territory, so you're getting into the ROG Ally, shit like that. But this is like my fucking current jam, dude. This is a lot of fun. It's within arm's reach, and I keep picking them up, and I love them a lot.
What are some of the go-tos when you pick up one of your emulation machines? Like, what are some of your go-tos?
So I've been trying out a bunch of new beat 'em ups on like the MAME side of things. There's one called Guardians that I'd never played before. I don't even know if it made it to the States or not, but
I've never heard of that
it's got like 8 different characters in it,
Wow.
which is a huge amount for a beat 'em up.
Yeah,
And they've got a really cool control scheme. Like you can hold down the attack button, hit left and right, and you'll do like it depends on the character, but you could do like a flying knee or something like that, or an uppercut. So it's got more sauce than what the typical beat 'em up puts out. So
nice.
It's cool. So yeah, like I'll make a list. I'll go and find it, and I'll put it in my favorites, and then it's just up at the top of the list. I can just hop into it and play the shit out of it.
Very cool.
Did that come preloaded as well, or no? Do those come blank slate?
I didn't get an extra card with it because those cards are junk. So I just put all my own stuff on it.
Gotcha.
But I've got a full ROM list, and like all my stuff's been scraped, like for cover art and
shit,
preview videos and shit like that. So it's just it takes a day or so to get all that shit set up, especially if you're running Android, which is what this is based off of. Because there's a lot of side loading, apps and configuring things, and it's just a little tedious to set up. But once you're there, like it's super flexible and it's very, very powerful. The option or the other option to Android is like a Linux based stuff, and that's just very straightforward. Like you can just burn an image directly from your computer and just pop that SD card, and you're good to go. And like you can move over ROMs and whatever. There's nothing to really configure or set up, so you got easy use, but it's not nearly as powerful. So there is that. Yeah, I've been having fun with my handhelds.
How many do you have now? Like 56?
I
feel like in the Discord, like every week there's a new one coming out.
And I haven't been keeping up with those. Like I've got the last one I got was the clamshell. Most of it's gone. And then this was the one that I bought afterwards. But I've got a couple other Retroid pockets, and then I think one other Amberneck, and then that's it. So probably about 5.
Oh, okay. That's not okay.
And most of the ones that I get are cheap ones, like the $40 to $60 range. So, and
you want to ask you want to ask about the numbers. You ask about Cray and you ask about Light Edge, like those two.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah, they buy like every single one.
Well, to be fair, I'm pretty sure that Light just like he gets one and he like sells things quickly. He like gets things and sells them.
I was wondering, like he sold everyone on the clam, like. Well, it wasn't like him and Jason were big on it, but I feel like he'll big something up and like a day or two later, then he's like shitting on it. He's like, "Oh, it's not that good." It's like, "Well, I just fucking bought one, you asshole!" Like the last few, I'm just like, I ain't even fucking taking part in this conversation because I'm gonna get suckered in.
I noticed that too.
And for those, I don't even. I'm not sure if he's listening or not, but to be honest with you, but I know Light Edge from.
Shit about him. Let's go.
I know Light Edge from when I was in college. Because we worked at the game store together, and he was very what's the word I need to look for here, liberal with the spending of his money when it came to games and stuff. So like he bought like the big thing that he was into at that time was fucking Neo Geo. So he had a Neo
Oh
Geo
my
CD,
god!
and then he turned around and he sold the Neo Geo CD and got a cart system, and he was buying the carts, which
Holy
are,
shit.
for those that don't know, are like
250,
$400 each.
Yeah.
It's like
he
there's
was,
your entire paycheck right there.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's where he was at. So,
Wow.
but yeah, he's but I mean,
Fuck.
he's got a collection too. I've actually bought stuff from him. I've bought actually my wife's PC that she's currently using. I bought from him, and it's still running great.
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
running great. Like when I got it, I had to replace the CPU fan, which he basically took off $100 for that reason only. And then I just had to replace one of the hard drives. So her hard drive died, and she lost. But luckily, I think the only thing that was on the hard drive was the games that she had installed, so no loss there really. She thought that she has like a ton of commissioned art and stuff like that, so she thought she had some of that on there, but we found that in a different place. So,
cool.
But yeah, and then I bought like he had a bunch of like rare Saturn games and things like that he was selling off,
Nice.
like Burning Rangers and shit like that,
wow.
and I bought that from him. So yeah, he's got quite a collection too. So don't let the don't let him fool you. Like
he seems
he's got
a little
quite
more frugal with his like handheld purchasing, anyways, because he'll get things, and if he's not super happy with it, he'll return it.
He'll return it. Yeah, he'll return it
instead of just like collecting them, like I probably would or something.
But just
like
hold
that.
on to it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like he's good about that. Like he's one of the things that like as him and I and Eddie. I'm going to mess up his name. Geoff, you know it, Zvajic or whatever it is. I can't remember how you pronounce it. Shvake.
Yeah.
Like we were on a forum together, just keeping up with each other, and like he's always talking about like different laptops that he's getting. Like he's the one who got me into the what is it called? The Win 3, the GCP Win 3. Like he got me into that. Like he will go out and get something and he'll basically review it for us. And then he decides to either return it or keep it. Right. So like he is, and he does he's good for that. Like he's good for information about that kind of stuff. So,
I'm worried now because like Light Edge didn't get a Retroid Pocket 5. He got like a Trim UI Smart Pro instead. But now he's got a Retroid Pocket 5 on the way. So like, I'm sure he's going to get it and shit all over it. Blame me.
One of the buttons is a bit too clicky.
Yep. So. Yeah, too clicky. A little too clicky.
That's good stuff though. Anything else, Jason?
No, I think that gets me up to date, I think, for the most part. So
right.
a few other things here and there, but
nice.
Nothing that's special.
All right. Geoff, what do you got?
I did something kind of cool and gadgety. Something I fiddled around with. So a buddy of mine, his Xbox took a shit. He's in Scotland, right in the middle of his Indiana Jones playthrough. And he returned it, and the store was going to give him a new one, but he can't get one, a Series X anywhere in Scotland.
Oh wow!
Only a Series S, because I just don't think they sell enough there, so I don't think they get stocked a lot of them. So they basically gave him I think they gave him a refund or something, or they're going to wait until they get one in. So he tried the GeForce Now, the NVIDIA streaming platform, and he was like raving about it. And stuff, and so I was like, you know what? The other day, I'm like, fuck it, I'll get a month, see what it's all about. Because I noticed
they have day passes too. You could have just done that for
the day pass was like
day passes.
It was like $10 or $13, and I think a month was 20 or 25. Okay. So I was like, I might as well get the 25 because I didn't want to just mess around with it like for one day. And so like I got the highest one, the one that was like the equivalent of like a RT 4080, I think it is. Yeah,
not quite sure, but you'll get 4K out of that. So
yeah, it's got all the bells and whistles and stuff.
Nice.
So I gave that a shot because I noticed that the app is on my Samsung TV in the bedroom. So I'm like, I'll try it. Nice. And I'm gonna eat some humble pie, man. I was 100% like streaming is gonna be nowhere close to me to be able to put up with gaming, but it's pretty damn good. I'm impressed by it more so than I ever was with xCloud or PS Now or anything.
The GeForce Now stuff is, in particular, has been really solid. That's
I haven't tried the GeForce Now stuff, but I mean, I know it's dead now, but Stadia did well. Like, I thought the streaming from Stadia was really good. So
I can't say. Yeah, I never tried Stadia. But no, it was so okay. So I don't know if I have a couple issues with not it, but I can't. The problem is some of the problems I run into. I don't know if it's the streaming or if it's the settings I have, because immediately I got hit with that overwhelming holy shit. There's so many settings, because you're playing a virtual PC is what you're doing. And you have all the settings that a PC would for those games. So the first game I tried was Indiana Jones, because I'm like, I got to see what this looks like with the path tracing and all that shit turned on. It doesn't run at 60, at least the way I had it for it, but it did look damn good. So I would turn some shit down, and then I would turn stuff back up again, and I kept messing with shit here and there. But overall, it ran pretty well. But it would hiccup here and there would be kind of like a bit of a frame drop. But I can't tell if it's the game dropping frames or if it's the streaming kind of like buffering or something. It's kind of hard.
I was surprised that Indie in particular, like, and I think I mentioned this the last time we talked, that you know, I like when I play it on my PC, and it's I don't have a 4000 card. I've got a 3080 Ti, so it's not like it's a shit card. Like, it's a really good card. But like, even when I pulled up the video settings, like, I always pull up the video settings to turn off things like motion blur, like turn all that shit off, right? Because it's like it's extra processing that I don't want. And like the default settings for me, there was several default settings that were set to medium, and it would go medium, high, and then ultra. Like, there's a couple that were like, I was at level 2 of 4. Most of them were level 3 of 4 or level 3 of 3, but there was a couple of them that were set to 2 of 4 or something like that. And I was surprised at like how much they wanted to pull from your PC to get this to look good. Like, so, you know, I'd be like, Jason, you have a 4080, right?
Yeah, no, 4070 Ti.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm curious to see, like, what does it take to run Indie at max settings? Because I feel like that might be like one of the pinnacle games right now from a visuals perspective.
I'm running it at max, but it's at 1080. So like
okay, that makes sense.
I don't run anything at 4K. I've got 1440 monitors, which are 32-inch, but because my vision is so shit, like my periphery and such, I actually just make it into like a window, a 1080p window, and that works out for me because it gives me performance, and it gives me like eyesight stuff too. So it works out.
I can't turn at least in India, I couldn't turn the resolution above 1080 either.
Oh, really?
So I'm not sure why that is.
Up.
I wonder if that's just a thing for their setting. I don't know, because and path tracing was a thing that, because it has baked in ray tracing. I don't even think you can turn ray tracing off.
You can. I did.
Oh, can you? Path tracing or ray tracing?
Ray tracing. You can turn it off.
Oh, can you? Okay. Because I couldn't see anywhere where it's normal ray tracing or whatever. So I did turn that.
I'll verify the next time I play it, but I'm pretty sure that I did.
Pretty sure you can?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought it required a ray tracing card, but I could be very wrong. But the path tracing definitely definitely bogs it down more. And it does have a frame counter that I did turn on. I thought that was pretty cool. I'm like, okay. And I put the frame limit to 60 just because I don't have a 120 hertz TV or anything. So it's...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But it did run pretty well. But like I said, there's times when it would hitch here and there. And one time, I don't know if it was the controller syncing that TV issue where I just turned left a bit on the controller and it did like a complete 360 with my view. I'm not sure why I did that. But it was good. And then I tried Hellblade 2, which again looks awesome. That one didn't have the hitches and stuff that Indie had, but it had some sound stuff where the sound would cut out here and there, just like for like a split second or like a second. But it was happening enough that I was like, okay, this would drive me nuts. So I was to play like the entire game like this.
Weird.
So again, I don't know if that's the streaming, or also I'm also playing wired or wireless and in the bedroom, which is far from the router. So I think that's probably has a lot to do with it. I do want to try it wired. and see
that shouldn't affect the settings that you're setting for the game itself.
No, I'm not talking about the settings. I'm talking about if the hitching is because that.
The hitching could be the wireless
and stuff like that. Yeah, or even the sound stuff. That's not that would cut out here and there.
Totally.
The setting stuff is that I have no idea. Like that's something either they put on the back end or something.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm just limited to playing what I have on PC Game Pass because you can link up your Game Pass account to it. Or cool. Steam. Actually, I should do Steam. You know what? Maybe I'll just I'm trying to think of a game on Steam that I don't own that I could grab.
You just missed the sale. Shit.
I know. Yeah. I'm kind of kicking my. I'm like, damn it! Why didn't I?
Was it over
this earlier?
Yeah,
probably.
No.
Yeah. Just see if there's something I can't get on console on there, and then give it a shot. And it did make me think, like, maybe I should just get a PC. But then I was kind of like, I really had to be like, is this much better? Like graphically, and it looks awesome, but then I booted it up indie on the Series X. Like, this still looks pretty awesome. And then I'm like, how much is a graphics card here? I'm like, okay, maybe I don't want to do this right now.
Like, and that's the thing. Soon. It's like we're certainly getting to the point where the rate of return on some of these upgrades is way lower than it should be.
It's diminishing for sure.
Yeah, it's certain. Like right now you're paying for additional effects like ray tracing. That's what you're paying for. And it's like if you're not constantly looking for like ray trace opportunities like reflections in water and shit, it's like, does it really matter to you at that point? So
no,
and that's kind of like when I look at the perfect example in my eyes is the Pro, the PS5 Pro. It's like I'm not going to pay $700 for that. It's not enough of a jump.
It's not enough of a jump. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, you're doing 60 frames on things that used to be 30 frames, but I can tone things down a little bit. It's not that much different anymore. It's like, I still have problems seeing a big jump from like PS4 to PS5.
On some games, yeah.
Yeah, on some games, I don't see that jump.
Last generation and the end of the generation before that, or let's say last generation, I think we've hit that peak of where I think we can go back to that generation for like 20 years down the line and still think these games look good. Like it's that point. It's not like going back to the PS1 era or even to some like 360 PS3 era where it's like, ugh, like this does not look as good as I remember, because some of those games last gen still look fantastic, especially running on current hardware.
Yeah,
it's like playing a Super Nintendo game. It's like Super Nintendo and Genesis games just looked good. And then once they jumped to 3D, that started the whole like games kind of look bad.
Yeah, you started over again, right?
Yeah, it started from scratch.
Yeah.
So, but I wasn't really impressed, man. Like I thought we were like so far away from streaming becoming any sort of mainstream, and it probably is in terms of like mass like adoption. But they're almost there in terms of having it like so close to playing it natively.
Yeah.
Like there's no artifacting. Sorry, go ahead, Jason.
Xbox is kind of banking on it. Like everything's in Xbox now is the new tagline. So yeah, they're hoping for it.
I did boot up the xCloud today because I haven't tried that in a while, and it's definitely more improved from the last time I tried it, but it's not as good as GeForce now. Like I still notice some kind of like noticeable input lag for me, more so than I did with GeForce now. GeForce now, I had to really concentrate to be like, is this laggy on the inputs? And it was all right. I need to try it on Doom though, because Doom is what I tried on Xbox. I need to try that on on the GeForce Now and see how that feels. But yeah, so I have that till the end of January. So I'm gonna fiddle around with it some more.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Like even if you don't get like a year's, like if something comes out on PC that I can't play on console, I would have no problem like being like getting a day pass maybe down the line or getting another month or whatnot. So
yeah,
it's a cool little option. I just wish they had it on my living room TV though. It's a Vizio and I can't get the app on that TV, unfortunately. It's just a much better TV. But
what is the app on?
My Samsung TV.
Which has what behind
GeForce
the scenes?
Now. Oh,
right.
Behind the scenes? I don't know.
It's just an app. Like it's a smart TV and it's just an app built into the OS.
Because you can get like a
Roku stick or something,
yeah, a Roku stick or a Google TV stick or something like that, and plug it into
Fire
whatever.
Stick, yeah.
Well, there you go. This is why I keep you guys around.
Right. Okay.
That's such a smart
idea. You have options right there. You have options there. So
okay, maybe I'll try that.
I highly suggest checking out because you can get those for cheap now too.
Really,
like talking like $30 or less at that point.
Look at Fire Sticks. Because they're kind of going in on those.
I will. I got a Fire Stick actually for my sister for Christmas, so maybe I should grab one for myself.
Well, shit.
Just make sure that the GeForce Now app is available for it.
Yeah.
I'll check. I'll definitely do that. But yeah, okay. I got something to do this weekend. I can. That's gonna be something I can look into.
We got you, Geoff. We got you.
But in terms of other games and stuff, I started up Ease 10 Nordics, the latest of the Ease series.
Goodness.
I have never played an Ease game.
I was going to ask that question. I'm like, I don't think I've ever told, when did we start this fucking podcast? Like 2007? There's been several Ease games that have come out.
One, and I rented it for the Sega Master System. That's how long ago it's been.
Okay.
And that's when I owned a Sega Master System. Like, so I was pretty young. And I got this one because I saw people talk about it on the socials and stuff and being like, they really liked it and stuff. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm in this like weird games I usually don't like kick. I'm gonna ask for it for Christmas. I actually asked for Silent Hill 2 and this, and then the one I got was Ease. So I started that the other day. It's you start off on a ship. You're this redheaded guy. Adol. Is that he's like a? Yep. Is he the same guy in all of them? I don't know.
I don't know if it's the same guy, but it's always some redhead.
Oh, okay, so it's kind of like a Link kind of deal. Like it's
I think so.
A different Link. Okay,
I'm not positive.
You start off on a ship. The ship gets hijacked by what appears to be Vikings, and this female Viking just kills the captain of the ship you're on. Then turns out that she's actually part of the Baltic Sea Guard, which is basically like the sea police in the Nordic area. Basically, they're basically like a Coast Guard kind of thing, but they're like Vikings.
Okay.
And the dude who was the captain was actually quite the asshole and committed some crimes, so that's why they took him out. Turns out Adol has mana. She can use mana. They become tied by a mana handcuff kind of thing. So now you're stuck with her and she's stuck with you. And it's a Japanese action RPG, I guess. It seems pretty cool. The first 10 minutes I thought, oh shit, I don't think I'm gonna like this, because the first time anyone speaks in that game, I was like, this is really bad.
Okay.
I was like, this is some of the worst voice acting. And I don't know if they just like did that on purpose or if they forgot to redo some lines, because it does get a lot better after the initial like half an hour or so. Just some of the characters are pretty bad, but for the most part, it's pretty good voice acting, especially with some of the main characters. And Karja, who's the female lead, she's awesome. She is a spunky, like badass, like fighter warrior, and she's hilarious. It's got some pretty good writing in terms of like humor. There's some times I audibly laughed out loud. And this could be a running joke too. At some point, the head of the Sea Guard or whatever is like, oh, I have a thing tomorrow. I want everyone to be there or whatever. And I'm like, oh, what is this thing he's talking about? And then everyone meets up and he starts talking to everyone. He's like, all right, well, I'd like to, congratulate or not congratulate, thank everyone for making it to the thing this morning. And then another character makes a reference to he likes to have these things here and there, but basically a thing is a meeting. That's what they call meetings, and I thought that was really funny. We're gonna have another thing in a week from now. I thought that was amusing. And
all right, we have a daily 8:30 thing that we gotta do.
Yeah.
Make sure you are prepared for the thing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's very PS2, PS3 looking, but in like 4K, like 60 frames. It's not graphically intrusive.
Is it
at all
2D or 3D?
It's 3D.
Okay.
It's a 3D, yeah, but it looks like straight out of like even like the dungeons and stuff. They're very basic in terms of art. They're pretty bland. At least the ones I've done so far are pretty bland. I'm not super far. I've done probably like 4 hours. I've probably done the first main dungeon, just finished that up before we recorded. But it is fun. It's very action heavy. Sorry.
How active is the combat? Like
extremely
how
active.
much in control are you?
You are in almost too much control. That's actually one of my gripes. Only because I hate the button layout, and I forgot to check that too before we record. I want to see if you can change the button layout, because X is attack, which that should never be attack anymore. Circle is jump. Yeah. And then you have right trigger. Right trigger makes it so you do your team up attack. So you hold down right trigger and hit X. Both of you will attack the enemy at the same time. R1 makes your character that you're controlling bring up their skills, and you have the face buttons to each skill. X changes characters, and then you have those same controls for the other characters, so they have the 4 face skills of their own, and then you have the team up skills. It's a lot to fucking remember in the heat of battle. And then when you're also, I have hit every single battle, I hit the wrong button multiple times for whatever the hell I'm trying to do. Whether it's dodge, there's dodging, there's parrying,
there's
perfect pairing, there's air juggles.
Oh yeah,
there's air juggles. It is very, very action oriented, but it's not like super weighty at all. But it's not overly floaty either. It gets the job done. It's fine. There's been worse. There's been a lot better. But it is kind of cool. If I can get used to the controls, which it's been 4 hours and I still can't. My brain is just so wired, like muscle memory for attack, especially for hitting square to attack.
Yeah.
And also dodge. Dodge is on L1. And
can you not change the controls? Is there not an option?
Like I said, I meant to do that today, but I totally forgot to go into options, because I was going to do it after I save my game and be like, hey, for next time when I play, because I'm playing Death Stranding, and of course I'm like used to those controls, so it makes it even worse when I go back to ease. But so far it's kind of cool. It is very lighthearted. It is very kind of anime-ish, but not overly annoying, because again, the writing isn't awful. It's got its moments.
How's the jolly cooperation?
The jolly cooperation is actually not as high as I thought it was going to be yet. And that's mainly because, Adol doesn't really say anything yet. He said like one line of dialogue so far. And then Karja, the female, she's like giving him shit, and she's got like a bit of an attitude. So between the two of them right now, it's not a lot of cooperation. Cool. But with Adol's team and stuff, actually it isn't a lot. They take jabs at each other a lot. Even the family that's part of the Viking crew or whatever. It's actually, yeah.
Good.
It's pretty adult. Like they do use adult language and stuff like that. It just looks like not a kid's game, but I mean, it's typical anime Japanese style where the characters are 17, so they're like underage. They like having their teenage characters, and yeah, so it's that. Looking at it, you're gonna be like, this looks like every other game that's like this, and it could be. I'm new to this now, so but I like it, man. I don't know if you guys have played one recently or any of the other 9. I guess.
Man, the last one that I played was Oath and Felghana, which was on the PSP, I think.
No shit.
And yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, they were just starting to get into. Well, actually, no, they've been action oriented, like not menu driven. I think for the entire series, I want to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that, but yeah, it was definitely it was a top down, like hack and slash, which was pretty cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I have not played through one since 1, 2, and 3, so it's been a long
time then.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, I'm enjoying it. We'll see if I stick to it. It's not supposed to be overly long, so we'll see. And I mentioned Death Stranding already, and I'm back into that. Glenn's got me back into it, and something clicked with me the other day, and I was like, I fucking get it now. I get why people like this game. I still think there's a lot of bullshit in it in terms of the first fucking like 15 hours, and it's not the type of game where it's like you can tell somebody just play to like 15 hours. Once you get to this point in the story, then it gets really good, because it wasn't a part in the story. It was just like I think it's one of those things where people just have to play it, and then the game either clicks or it doesn't, and that can happen in 5 hours. Maybe it happens in 15. Maybe it happens in fucking 30. I hope not 30. I hope if you're at that point, just
Yeah,
stop.
really.
But it's when I realized like it's rewarding to help out the other people that are on the server, because it's not it's single player, but it's multiplayer in the way that kind of like Souls games are, whereas you can leave signs and stuff, and you can build things in the world and other people can use them, but you never see these people on the map. Like you never interact with them other than that. And just seeing a couple roads that needed help fixing, and I fixed them up, and I was like, yeah, I fucking did that. And then seeing the things pop up when you log in, being like, this many people used your road or gave you like likes for finishing this road, and you can put in requests to have people help you out build something, or you can do the same. And it was just, yeah. And also, they need to give, I think if they gave people more options at the beginning in terms of combat and traversal, I think it would help a lot. But I also think Kojima wanted it that way for people to feel the struggle.
Sure.
And then so when you get these unlocks and stuff, it really makes a big difference. And yeah, so I'm still pushing through with that. It's got that Kojima jank though that I don't like with any of his games, and that's just the over cumbersome controls on a lot of things. Like it's like how you throw grenades by holding down left trigger, then hitting right trigger. Now that's like most games that do something like that.
Right.
And then I did a thing where I had to throw a package into a lake because it was a bomb. And that's how I thought I was doing it. I was like, okay, well, it just makes sense. This is how you do it. Nope, nope, nope. And then it finally popped up a tooltip or whatever, how to do it. And it said, okay, you have to hold down the whichever hand you're holding it in. So left or right, that's the trigger you basically hold down. And then you hit X to attack with it. And so, like, I hit X, and he just attacks with it. It looks like you're walloping somebody with the package. And I'm like, okay, but I need to throw this thing. So I'd let go, and it would just drop it on the ground. I'm like, well, fuck, I have to pick it back up. So, no, you have to, once that animation starts of you whacking somebody, then you got to let go of whatever trigger that is that's holding it. And then the inertia will toss it into the lake, which seems cool when you're like, okay, that makes sense. But from a gaming perspective, that does not make any sense at all.
Yeah.
It's not intuitive, and that's a lot, I feel, with a lot of the combat-based stuff. He still does a thing where you have to go into a menu or a radial dial to equip everything. There should be easier, like if you're fighting a BT, which are like the ghostly alien things, there should be a button just to pull out the weapon that does that. And if you're going against humans, there's the weapons that do that or whatever, and not have to. It's kind of annoying, but luckily the combat's pretty damn forgiving, so it's not super, frustrating. It's just cumbersome. But yeah, it's good so far. I like it. I get it now. I think I'm more than halfway through it, so hopefully I have that finished in the next week or two. And then yeah, I replayed through Plague Tale Innocence because I got that combo pack that they released physically earlier this year. Only 2 days into the damn year, late last year. And man, I still love that game. I forgot it got a current gen update, the first one, and I never played it with the current update, and it looks fantastic. Again, another game that came out last generation that looks awesome.
I haven't played the second one yet.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I know. You've talked about it.
Put on your backlog.
No, man, I don't like rats.
Yeah, if you don't like rats, yeah, then definitely no. Yeah, if it was about spiders, I probably wouldn't play it. But that's it. That's it for me for game wise.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
I've got a lot of games that I played a little of. So I'll start with speaking of backlog. I beat Undertale. So
nice.
I finished it with like the first run, and I finished as the pacifist route. So I went through without killing anybody. I gotta say, like, I don't know how much you guys know about how this game works, but super, super creative game design. Like, just in general, the way that they do everything. Like, the game has it has complete control over everything. So it's like you don't. It'll call you out for doing shit. Like if you try and scumload something, It'll call you out for it. Like, no, I know you
Oh
what you
yeah.
just did. So it does like it's like it's watching you. And the ending is like the last two or three. Let's see. So the dude I was at for so long that I had trouble with, he was the third to last boss, and then the second to last boss, and then there's a big boss. So that sequence right there, just that sequence, it's about half an hour long, and it did so many things that I was like, that is super creative. That it really made the whole experience feel worth it. It's a short game. There's several. There's like 3 different ways you can play it. There's 3 different like endings you can take. My son was telling me that now that I've done the pacifist route, I can do the true pacifist route. That's adds some more stuff to it. But like he's beaten the game like 4 times. So, or maybe even more than that. But like he's like, I'm excited for you to play it again. And I'm like, let me tell you something, buddy. I don't know if that's gonna happen right now. But yeah, super creative stuff. Like I don't want I want to tell you guys what it is, but I also don't want to spoil it for people that may have not have played it. But like I was just really impressed at some of the things that happen in the game that you don't usually see, like changes that it makes to the game itself that you don't usually see just based on your actions and things like that. So very, very creative stuff. Really, really happy with it. So I would highly suggest people experience it. It's a short game. I think it's like 8 hours max. My clock, I left my Steam Deck running one day, and for some reason my clock says like 400 hours or something, but it's seriously like 6 to 8
400 hours, one ending.
That's right. So since I finished that, I started up Last of Us 2. That was the third and final backlog game for 2024.
And you finished it.
No, I did not. I got
It's long.
through. I only got a few hours in. Guys, I do not think I can play this game, man. It's like
it's bleak, man.
And that's the thing. It's like when I play games to escape reality and have fun, and this game does neither of those. Like I don't have fun when I'm playing because it's very stressful, and I'm already at a point where I'm like, I'm just really fucking angry right now.
So you got to the part then, I guess.
I got to the first part. Yes, I got to the first part.
Okay.
And where you have you play as 2 different characters at the start.
Yeah.
Right? You play as Ellie and you play as
Abby.
I got to the part that involves Abby. And I'm angry. And now I don't want to play it anymore.
But now I'm trying to think of which part. Is it like the part? Like, you should know what I'm talking about when I'm saying like the part. Like, there's only one. Like,
yes.
There's a lot of the parts, but it's like the part.
it is I don't know, because I've only run into the part, Geoff. So if it gets worse, I really don't want to play this fucking game, man.
Well, because there's because I can't remember if there's a few parts at the beginning with each character, but yeah, if that got you upset, it doesn't get any better.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to play this game anymore, guys.
I will say this though, dude, like, and
here's the thing. Before I don't feel like I need to play this game. Because I know that season 2 of the show is coming out.
Season 2 is not going to cover it all, though.
I know, because this game is like twice as long as the first game. So I don't know. I don't
even think the part's going to be in the next season, but I think they're going to.
We might be thinking of a different part. We'll talk after the show.
Yeah, we'll talk after. But I will say though, dude, like, if I want to say stick to it, because I think I'm in what seems to be the minority is I actually like 2 more than 1, because they did such a great job contrasting both characters. And what started as a fucking I can't stand Abby, fuck her, honestly got me thinking towards the end, being like, you know what? she might be the good guy in this game.
Hmm.
So, because when you really think about it, how the first one ends,
Yeah.
when you find some stuff out, and which I can't remember if you find out at the part or not, the reasoning, like why Abby is driven to do the thing she's doing,
I mean, I
you'd
have a
be like, I
guess. They haven't
fucking get it.
explained it yet.
Yeah,
But I have a guess.
gotcha.
But yeah.
But yeah, they do a great job of that. I think it's. I really
I
liked
mean,
how they contrasted both of them.
I know that the storytelling is going to be brilliant. I know the writing is going to be brilliant. I know the characters are going to be brilliant. But the whole
Uncomfortability of
concept
it,
is
though, is also
so
turned up to 11. There's
yeah.
a sex scene in it that's extremely uncomfortable to watch.
Oh really? Oh man. But the word that you used was appropriate. It's bleak. Like I just feel like I go into this game and I'm gonna leave depressed. That's the way it's gonna happen, right? So I don't know. We'll see. I'm not giving up on it yet. Um,
Just
I
make
hope.
sure to have a palate cleanser immediately after your sessions.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's what it's been doing. It's like I played like I've only had like 2 or 3 sessions, and I would play like an hour and a half, and then I would move on to something else. And it's like, okay, I'm done with this for right now.
Yeah.
But I do love Ellie so far, and I love the
I can't remember her name. I know you're gonna.
I can't remember her name either,
right?
but her friend that like the relationship that they have, that they kind of jab at each other and stuff like that. So I like that whole sequence was really nice. I enjoyed that part of it. But yeah, so I will go back to it, but it's just one of those things that right now it's rough.
Yeah.
So I talked a little bit about the Shovel Knight board game. After I bought the board game, I realized I have never played a Shovel Knight game.
Oh, they got you.
So
dude, really?
I have never played a Shovel
DS.
Knight. So I ended up putting Shovel Knight Treasure Trove on my wish list, and it was half off during the last sale. So I picked that up and I started playing it. I haven't gotten too far. I think I'm like 2 or 3 stages in. But really, really enjoyable. They let me tell you, like they throw some shit platforming at you very quickly. Because like on stage 2, there was this part where I died like 6 times, and I was having trouble with it. And every time you die, like some of your gold goes away, and you have to go get it again. So, but it's a nice little platformer. I really enjoy it. So I'll probably be chipping away at that over the next month or two. I played a little bit more of indie, not really enough to talk about it anymore. I think you did a really good job of covering a lot of it last time we talked, but it's just a super elite, super impressive looking game, and very unique. And you feel like you're indie. Like I liked it. I like it a lot.
I had to give Sasbob shit because I fucking told him at the beginning, do the side missions, and he's like one of the people who usually likes to do the side stuff.
Yeah.
And he was saying all this stuff with the game, and I'm like, did you not do this or this or this quest or whatever? And he was like, no, I kind of just mainlined it. Like, he really liked the game, but I'm like, oh man, dude, you missed out on so much cool shit. And I know you're not going to do that because you like doing the side shit.
Yeah, I do. I try and do all the side stuff. So, which actually brings me to Dragon Age. So that's what I've really put the most into is Dragon Age Veilguard. And I mentioned last time to you guys that I ended up having to start over because of Steam account bullshit and all that stuff. But so I caught up and well past where I was before. I've got all the companions now. I've gotten through some of the big story beats that are at the beginning. So really, really enjoying that. I love the banter between the characters that you've got. That's always fun to hear. I really enjoyed. So for those that haven't played, like Balara is an elf, and she's very much into
she's like Donatello, basically.
Yeah. She's very much the techie of the group, right? She's very much into like elf artifacts and that kind of stuff. And then there's Tosh, and Tosh is essentially a dragon hunter, and she's part of the what are they called, the Fortune? Right, she's a Kunari, but she's the Fortune, something of Fortune, uh, Lords of Fortune, or something like that. But that's like her the faction she's with, and part of what she does, of what the Lords of Fortune do, is they collect artifacts and they sell them. And when you have Balara and Tosh together in your party, they start talking about this. And Tosh is like, or Balara, since she's an elf, she's like, so you just find elven artifacts and you just sell them? Like, she's literally offended by what they're doing. And Tosh like explains to them, oh no, we have someone that is an expert in elven artifacts, and if it's something specific for the elven culture, then we let them have it for whatever, and they give us a finder's fee or whatever. And she goes, oh really? So like there's this like teaching back and forth about what they do from a cultural perspective. And I thought that was really cool. Like the banter between the characters is great. So far, like the story, it's interesting. Like I'm certainly enjoying what's going on. I think where I'm running into frustrations with the game is that it is not as flexible as I feel like it should be.
It's not.
And what I mean by that, the battles, yeah. So Geoff, I don't know if you talked about this or not, but there's so similar to like Mass Effect had combos that you could do, right? And Dragon Age does too. So Dragon Age has 3 specific status effects that you can apply to enemies. It's got overwhelmed, weakened, and
Sundry.
Sundered. That's it.
Sundered.
And you have to have someone that applies it, and then with an attack, with a special attack, and then you have to have someone that detonates it with an attack. And what they do, the way they do the game, is that especially with the main character with a Rook and the skills that you can get, you're probably going to focus so that you can only apply and detonate a combination of 2 or maybe 3 with attacks.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of pick and choose the direction you want to go. And like right now, I'm using a fighter and I'm going the Warden direction because I want to be able to be able to do more parrying with my shield and shit like that, right? I think that's really what I want to focus on. So I can apply overwhelmed and I can detonate weakened. Well, the companions all only have 1 apply and 1 detonate. So there's already 2 people in my party that have apply overwhelm and detonate weaken. So why would I bring them with me? And that's
you start pairing them up to combo off each other.
Right, but you still so here's my perfect setup right now. And I went in and I fought a champion and just fucking wrecked them because of this. So I brought it was myself or Rook, and I brought Balara and I brought Harding. So Balara and Harding play off each other with Sundered. And then I can apply overwhelm. Harding can detonate overwhelm. Balara can apply weakened, and I can detonate weakened. So we have all 3 covered. It's just like fucking detonations everywhere, right? That's the way that's the way I'm like, the developers, this is what they want. This is what they expect you to do.
Yeah.
But the problem is that if you have to bring a different character, you're not going to be able to pair it up where you can end up doing all 3. And I feel like that's ideal. I feel like if they would have given each of the companions 1 more, either apply or detonate, that would have made things a lot more flexible. But I also know that they don't want you to just walk through everything. So
and I'm trying to do open up more skills that you can do more, and it depends where you're putting your specific skill tree into, like where you're going to. You can change that. I mean,
right?
Yeah, the companions are very limited with that. That's why I rarely took. Well, Balara, because she's fucking annoying as hell. I barely took her on anything.
I like her. I'm sorry. I think she's hilarious.
So annoying. But yeah, that was a problem. Not a problem. It's just something that they didn't. It's kind of like something they kind of overlooked. I basically stuck to the same 3 that I would kind of rotate in and out, and occasionally I would take another one and just be like, I'm not going to worry about doing the apply or detonate or apply and detonate. I'll let them do it or something. Just, yeah. So I can use all the characters. But yeah, that is an issue.
Yeah. I will say that like when that fight that I had with that champion where I had Ballara and Harding, and so I can do it with Ballara and Harding, and I can do it with Nev and the Crow. And I can't remember the Crow's name.
Lucantis,
yeah. So I can do it with them too. But like when things are running, like they are running, like the combat feels great.
But even
it feels great.
I didn't have a problem with the combat through the whole game, but I can see like a lot of people do, because you do hit that wall, like you're kind of talking about it already, and you're how many hours in, where it's like the combat doesn't change. Once you get those things down, you just make stuff better, and unless you're going to start really looking at enemies like weaknesses and stuff like that, you're really not doing much of anything new. That just never got old. The whole apply and detonate never got old for me. It was one of those, it's like double jumping. And like a Metroidvania.
It's Mass Effect. Dude, the combat is Mass Effect. It's Mass Effect with a sword. And that's probably why I like it so much.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But it feels really good. It feels natural. Like, because I'm so used to playing Mass Effect and applying the conditions and things like that. Like, it just feels good. And this is the first Dragon Age where I've really felt that. Where I've really felt like I'm enjoying the combat and how it's being played out and how the story's being presented to me.
Yeah.
So
I'm just wondering how you're going to feel about the dialogue a little bit later, just because that is how every dialogue goes. And everything just seems, that was my biggest complaint, is everything just seems very after school special. Whereas, yes, Ballara like is looking at her heritage and everything. And Tosh is all like, we find these artifacts and sell them. But it's like resolved. Like everything is resolved in such a, with like kid gloves type of way, where it's like, oh yeah, but it's like, this is what happens. We get a finder's fee, return this, blah, blah.
Really
there's no conflict
between them.
No, the conflict lasts like no time at all, and it's the resolution is just so. It's like Rook is talking to a fucking toddler. Like there's one. It has one of my favorite lines in it, but it's with Tosh and Emmerich. The necromancer guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And they have this like little spat, and they have some funny insults that go back and forth, and it basically just comes down to Rook being like, come on guys, it's okay to have a different opinion and you should respect each other. And they're both like, oh yeah, you know what, you're right, let's go have talking about cooperation. that is cooperation, but a Western developed game, Jason. That is like team cooperation, that game. And at first I was kind of like, this is kind of like lighthearted and kind of fun, but towards the end I was like, okay, can someone, there's no way you guys have been together this long and no one's gonna fucking snap at one another and be like, no, this is what I believe in. Like everything is resolved so quickly, so like there's no nuance to any of the conflict within the team at all.
I get you.
It'd be cool if Tash said, yeah, we sell that shit, shut the fuck up, we can do what we want, and be like, have it like be a drawn out thing, then whatever, they fight to like not the death, but like she pounds Ballara's ass.
Yeah, Tosh is like fucking huge, man. You don't fuck with her, man.
So, it's like,
and my dude is a dwarf. Like I'm already shorter than Ballara, so when I go up to Tosh, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly, dude. I'm almost positive there's a part where someone eats too much of something, and someone's like, oh, so and so ate the rest of the pie or something, and it comes down to Rook being like, well, sharing is caring, like basically the equivalent of that. And I'm just like, oh my god, like people that were getting upset about the stuff about like the trans stuff, whatever. That's like nothing. That's whatever. Like the dialogue wasn't bad there. The dialogue's with everything else that comes with your team being like, but yeah. And fuck yeah, Stick. This will be interesting to see how you feel in a couple weeks. I mean, I still liked it, but that was my biggest gripe with it. And the last act, holy shit, the last act is good.
Yeah, my wife is completely entrenched in Dragon Age right now.
Yeah,
like she's already. So we talked about Veilguard, and she's beaten that multiple times. Now she's beaten
Inquisition.
Thank you. I wanted to say Inception. That's not it. She's beaten that multiple times. Now she's playing 2. Like she's going backwards. But and she said that she got to a boss in 2 and it made her wanted to stop playing the game. And she's like, I hate this game. And she goes, I'm not. Once I play this, I'm not going to play it again. And I'm like, yes, you are, because she said she wanted to start from 1 and go all the way through. And she goes, God, you're right. So she is completely entrenched in Dragon Age lore now. And it's funny because she never played one before the Veilguard, and she's just like obsessed with it now. It's amazing. But yeah, that's it for me. That's about it.
All right.
No and news. That's all distractions, right? No news or anything. No. Dude. Oh, I didn't even mention it. So, Jason, I'm starting to get warm in this thing. So I got this nice little baby otter Snuggie. It's awesome. It's super soft and very warm. My heat in my basement is busted. So it is like in the 50s. Yeah, it is in the 50s down here. So I've got this big thing on, but I also have a space heater behind me. And I'm warm cooking you now. All right. Yeah, I'm warm now. So I'm going to probably take this off in a second.
No.
But it's so comfy.
I know. Look at it. It's adorable.
But yeah, anything else before we wrap up and get out of here, guys?
The only other thing I was going to say is we are going to be working on our Game of the Year show, which will be coming up shortly. But before that, I'm not going to put the official smoke signal up in the sky on the socials. But for anyone listening or interested, we're going to collect your top 5 games of the year, and we'll do our community game of the year like we usually do. Probably an episode before our game of the year episode, so it's one dedicated to the listeners and stuff. So we'll go over that stuff. So
keep an eye out. Love you guys, man.
Keep an eye out for the on the Twitters and on the Blue Skies under both the InDis account and myself and these guys, Jason, Chris, whatever. So I will throw that out there when it's time.
Good deal. Well, that's the show then. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please tell a few friends about us. Like, subscribe, and comment on the show. Well, thank you, Jason. That really helps us. It really does. But yeah, it does help us out. We appreciate it. If you check out interactivedistractions.com, it'll bring you to our Linktree. You can get to our Discord from there. And if you want to support us, it'll also send you to our Patreon. And we appreciate those people as well. So thank you all of our supporters that are on Patreon. And that is it. So until next time, my name is Chris.
I'm Geoff.
It's amazing how we always get that part right with just the three of us.
It's easy. It's
when
easy.
you add a fourth person, we just don't know what the part's happening. Play your games, and we'll talk to you next week.
Peace.